Hey there, comrades. It's Charlie here. It's the first, hopefully, of many videos I'm going to be doing related to my and also your, hopefully, yoga practice. Today I decided I was going to just do a short class on breathing exercises. The reason I chose to do that for my first video is that now, more than ever, seems like a good time to be thinking about your breathing. Uh, Not just because there's a respiratory illness going around, which means having strong lungs, a healthy respiratory system, cardiovascular system is obviously a good thing. Also, just because I know a lot of people at the moment are feeling quite isolated, quite anxious, unhappy, and generally speaking, I think there's not a lot of things you can do that are quite as simple as just thinking a bit more about the quality of your breath uh, as a part of a holistic mental health practice. So, what I'm going to do today is teach you um, three different breathing techniques, all of which were taught to me by one of my many great teachers. Um, all three of which are from kind of hatha yoga traditions, or are, quote unquote, for lack of a better term, traditional Indian style yoga practices, but also have huge amounts of rooting in kind of modern and say less esoteric um, traditions as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each of them, maybe give you a little bit of information about the kind of yogic theological reasons, and also a little bit about the maybe more grounded kind of physiological reasons why you might want to make these a part of your practice. Okay, so the first one we're going to go with is I've usually had this one referred to just as yogic breath. It's a very simple one. I actually put this, usually a minute or two of this at the start of pretty much every asana class I teach. It's one of the most simple, most fundamental breathing techniques there is, and it's just a really good one for just getting lots of fresh air into your lungs. So the way this one works is kind of just trying to deliberately use the whole of your trunk, the whole of your upper body to get as much air into your lungs as possible. When we're breathing naturally, we tend not to actually use the whole of our lungs. There's huge amounts of capacity that our lungs have that in our kind of day-to-day unconscious, let's say, breath is not actually using, which is fine. That's kind of the way they're designed to work. But the more air you're getting into your lungs, and crucially as well, the more air you're pushing out of your lungs, the more you're able to oxygenate your blood, which is kind of the point of breathing. So the first thing that we're going to do, what I want you to do is place one hand onto your chest, one hand onto your stomach. It could be either hand, either way around, doesn't really matter. What we're going to do is we're going to breathe slowly, deeply, deliberately through the nose. What I want you to do as you're breathing is deliberately actually pull your stomach muscles upwards and outwards as you breathe in. So if I pull my jumper up, you can see my stomach is actually moving upwards and outwards as I breathe in. We're going to follow that as part of the same breath with the chest rising up as well. So as you're breathing in, we're bringing the stomach, the abdomen up and out, the chest up and out as well. Now the reason I've asked you to put your hands there is so you can really see how much they're moving. With your breath out, we're gonna pretty much just gonna be doing the same thing but the other way around. So we're pressing down first with the stomach, with the abdominal muscles, and then pushing down with the chest muscles, the diaphragm, the pectorals. So we're breathing in, chest, stomach up, breathing in, chest up, breathing out, stomach down, chest down. Breathing in, stomach up, chest up. Breathing out, stomach down, chest down. Now, when you breathe naturally, this happens a little bit unconsciously. That's just kind of the way the lungs work. All we're doing is deliberately kind of encouraging that natural movement as much as we can, so that we're filling up the lungs from the bottom to the top, and then we're emptying out, almost like if you imagine squeezing the last toothpaste out of a tube, emptying out from the bottom of the lungs and out to the top. The idea being, as I said, to force out as much stale, used up air as possible, to replace it with nice, fresh, oxygenated air, which in turn then oxygenates, the blood in your body, which travels all around your body. This is a wonderful way to relax the body, to focus yourself mentally and physically, to kind of ground yourself into your body, to really get a sense of being inside your body, which is one of the best ways to kind of, if you're ever feeling a little bit anxious, one of the best ways to combat that is to just try and do something that makes you feel in your body in a present moment. So deliberately breathing in this way is a very good way of doing that. And also, since it encourages more oxygen into your blood, it helps to kind of energize the body. Might actually perk you up a little bit. Do it first thing in the morning to help you wake up. So that's the first one. It's called yogic breath. So all I'm going to do now is just for a couple of minutes, I'm just going to breathe in that way. And I'd like you to kind of just do it along with me. You don't have to match the speed or the length of my breath, because obviously everyone's lung capacity is different, everyone's body is different. So go in at your own pace. We're just going to try breathing in, stomach up, chest up, breathing out, stomach down, chest down, just for a couple of minutes now. You don't need to keep your hands on your body. You can sit in any way that's comfortable for you. So beginning now. Continue to breathe. That was about a minute. So maybe as you're breathing, as you're focusing a bit more on your breath, you're starting to just feel yourself in your body a bit more. You're feeling the mind quiet down just a little bit as well. Starting to notice how your spine naturally elongates, maybe as you're breathing in, feeling the head just float up a little bit higher. As you breathe out, feeling the shoulders relaxing, the hips spreading out onto the floor or onto your chair. Maybe you just get a little confused because you're thinking too much about which way your stomach and your chest are moving. That's all right as well. It comes with a little bit of practice. We don't often think particularly hard about the way we breathe. So all of a sudden when you do, feels a little bit strange sometimes. It's kind of like, I don't know, deliberately thinking really hard about the way you chew or the way you walk. Sometimes something that comes second nature to us, something that happens unconsciously when you deliberately mentally focus onto it, it feels like there's a little bit of a shift maybe. So that was our first exercise. That was yoga breathing. You can just breathe naturally now, breathe normally, while I set up our second exercise. This one is called Nadi Shodhana Pranyama, which that is the Sanskrit name. Nadi Shodhana means nadi cleansing or nadi clearing. Pranyama just means breathing techniques. So you may have noticed that even when I translated that one, it still contained a Sanskrit word. That's nadi. Your nadis are, to keep it short, in layman's terms, they're kind of your psychic respiratory system, your psychic central nervous system maybe. If in yoga we talk about prana, which is energy, If you've ever taken one of my classes before, you've probably heard me talking about encouraging prana flow in particular ways. A lot of yoga involves kind of trying to move energy or encourage energy in certain ways to certain parts of your body. Now, the way that prana moves through your body is through nadis. So if you imagine your nadis like veins and arteries, they allow this energy to move through you. So in the yogic body, in kind of the psychic image or model of the body that we have in yoga, these nadis are channels through which prana flows. There's some pretty major ones that move up through the middle of your body. 3 in fact, your Sushumna, Ida and Pingala. And we're going to be looking at clearing those out. In more kind of grounded physiological terms, we're looking to just clear our breathing channels, basically. This one is sometimes a little bit tricky to do if you've got a blocked nose, but you might find that if you're able to do it with a blocked nose, it actually helps to clear that blocked nose up. Again, a big thing of what it does is it makes you focus on the way your breath moves, the way your breath operates. And that can be a very, very powerful tool for for your mental focus, for your mental health, as well as just the way you feel physically and your physical health. So the way I was taught this one, and again, there's I'm sure hundreds, if not thousands, of people who will teach this one ever so slightly differently. However, the principle remains the same. The way I was taught this one is we're going to take our right hand, and I'd like you to place just your index finger and middle finger just to the point between your eyebrows. We'll then use our thumb to hold the right nostril closed. So we're closing the right nostril with the thumb. Now these 2 fingers here, your ring and little finger, they'll be free to manipulate the left nostril. So the idea behind this breath is to breathe in through one nostril, out through the other. So the way we're going to do that is holding the right nostril closed. We'll breathe in just through the left nostril. And then hold that left nostril closed, open out the right to breathe out. We're then going to come back in through the right now. Closing, opening the left and breathing out. And that's pretty much it. That's Nadi Shodhana Pranyama. So to begin with, you can just breathe in that way any way you would. If you want to try that now while I'm explaining it, and then I'll show you a couple of slight variations which I personally like to use. So breathing in through the left nose, and out through the right, in through the right, and out through the left. So that's how we begin. What I find is very useful as well is to try and time these breaths. So the reasons for that are, first of all, to make sure that they're kind of even all the way through, so you're not breathing more through one nostril than the other. You've got to keep yourself balanced even with your breath. The other reason is, quite frankly, because if you can expand that time you spend breathing, you can make your lungs better at doing more with less, let's say. Make your lungs stronger, your respiratory system stronger, your cardiovascular system stronger. And it can make your normal breath a little bit slower, a little bit more efficient. One of the best ways to relax the body, to calm the mind, is to slow down your breathing. So what we're going to try now is we're going to be breathing in through one nostril. We're going to then hold the breath, breathe out, and hold the breath out again. We're going to start, I think, here with just a 3-second breath. So 3 seconds in, 3 seconds hold, 3 seconds out, 3 seconds hold. So I'll count along. I'll struggle to count and breathe in at the same time, so maybe you just want to follow my count here. So we're going to begin with the fingers between the eyebrows, closing the right nostril with our thumb, and breathing in, 1, 2, 3, closing both nostrils, holding for 1, 2, 3, breathing out through the right nostril, 1, 2, 3, and holding both nostrils closed for 1, 2, 3. We're now coming back in through the right nostril. 1, 2, 3. Holding here for 1, 2, 3. Out through the left nostril. 1, 2, 3. And then hold for 1, 2, 3. Now, if that's enough for you, if that's where you're comfortable, that's a great one to be doing as well. Just as good practice to just do that one a few times daily. You can do it for as long as you want. You can do 3 rounds, you can do 5 rounds, you can do 108 rounds, or you can just kind of do it naturally for a little while. One more expansion on that concept is something actually, which is to actually ratio the different parts of it in a particular way, so that I'm breathing in, then I'm holding for a little bit longer when it stays in, I'm breathing out for a little bit longer, and then I'm holding for a little bit longer. So the ratio that I personally use is 1, 3, 2, 1. So as an example, if I was using a 3-second count, I'd be breathing in for 3 seconds, I'd be holding for 9 seconds, so 3 times 3, it's 9. I'd be breathing out for 6 seconds, and then I'd be holding for 3 seconds. Again, this is just a good way of kind of training your body to get a little bit better, a little bit more efficient with its breath. You don't have to use that ratio. That's a ratio that I personally use. You don't have to use 3 seconds. If you'd rather, if you're feeling a little bit tender, if you're feeling like you don't have a very strong breath right now, then, do 2 seconds, do 1 second. If you want to push yourself a little bit more, then do 5 seconds, do 7, do 10 seconds. The one thing I will say about Nadi Shodhana Pranyama, in fact, with pretty much most of the pranayama exercises that you'll ever do, certainly the ones we're doing here, is that you shouldn't be pushing yourself to the point of pain. I don't want you to be holding your breath for 2 minutes and going red in the face and feeling faint. It's supposed to be a casual, relaxed breath. You're able to do it ideally without particular effort or force through any of it. The idea is to make your everyday, day-to-day breath stronger rather than just when you're operating at the absolute peak of your cardiovascular system. So I'll since that one's kind of a lot more up to you with how long each round goes, we won't do a practice round now. I'll leave that as something that you can do yourself, and I hope you will. And I'll give you one more pranayama, one more breathing exercise, which is a great one of my personal favorites. This one is called Kapalbhati Pranyama. Kapalbhati, Kapal is actually this portion, your forehead, kind of the frontal lobe, and Bhati means shining. So it's the idea is that it makes your frontal lobe shine, makes you feel happy and positive and good and clear and strong. Gives you insight, power to the old Ajna chakra, if that's your jam. So Kapalbhati is quite a simple one. The way this one works is that we're going to be breathing out forcefully, so you can hear it coming out through the nose, as a real kind of a lot of force through the nose. We're going to help that again with our stomach. If you remember earlier with the yogic breath when we were deliberately moving the abdominal muscles, we're going to do that again, but this time I want you to do it quickly. It's not a slow methodical movement. We're quickly forcing air out through the stomach, using the stomach muscles, forcing air out through the nose. Again, if I lift up my shirt, you can see how much my stomach's moving here. Now this one is an interesting one because we're only focusing on that out breath, only focusing on that exhale, but forcing the air out. And then hopefully what will happen is that as you release the muscles after that quick contraction, as they come back, that natural movement actually pulls just a little bit of air back into the lungs. So the inhale is kind of taken care of naturally by your body rather than you actually having to commit to it. So what we're going to do, I'm going to just do a few rounds of this one with you. We're going to start by just taking a nice long deep breath in through the nose, and then try that one again. And okay, we'll do that one more time now. So breathing in, nice long breath in, fill the lungs. Okay, so again, that's one that you can kind of do in your own pace. You can let each round be as long as you want. I think you'll find that if you keep practicing that one, your body becomes naturally better at doing that kind of casual inhale, that inhale without any effort. And what you'll find is that after a certain amount of time, you can kind of do it indefinitely. You'll find yourself getting less and less out of breath doing that. So Kapalbhati, wonderful pranayama. I personally find it helps to clear my head, especially first thing in the morning when I kind of got those cobwebs in there a little bit. It's a good way to kind of energize the body, to warm the body as well if you feel a little bit chilly, because it kind of encourages quite fast blood flow. So it helps you to kind of warm the body a little bit more. So I'd recommend just having a go at those 3 breathing exercises. Sometimes things like this feel a little bit, I don't want to say asinine or facile, maybe a little bit hippy dippy, not your kind of thing. But I promise you, if you just take a few minutes a day to do these exercises, to focus on the quality of your breath, you'll find that once it becomes a habit, you'll find that it just immeasurably does help you feel like a better person, a healthier person, hopefully a happier person. I'd recommend it to everybody. So I hope some of this made sense to you. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you'll keep practicing your pranayama, and I hope I'll see you again soon. So take it easy, guys. Shanti.